So mind you, please and please, if you don't have your passport ready, or if your passport is due to expire, please renew it. Because I'm saying this because of what happened to me. So for me, my passport had expired for a long time, and I didn't know that the admission was still going to come in. So when it came in, I had like limited time to quickly apply for my visa. My admission came in like May, and I had to apply for my visa to be able to resume school for fall. So it was not a long time. And we if you go to IRCC portal, so IRCC means immigration and refugee something something. Oh my god, I don't know. I put on the screen. So if you go to the IRCC portal, usually they'll tell you that study visa will take approximately 12 weeks. So you can either get it within the 12 weeks, or you can get it before or after. I don't know, but the standard time is 12 weeks, and that was how long my visa took. 12 weeks, which is 3 months. But I've seen friends, people that had their own coming before 3 months, and even after 3 months, 7 months, 5 months. Yeah, so that's why you need to apply on time. So what I did was I had to quickly renew my passport. I started gathering all the documents that I could gather. So because I had my school transcripts already, I didn't have to go through the stress of finding my transcript. So I had my transcripts, I had all school documents that I needed. So the remaining thing that I added was my police clearance certificate. So at this point, I hear that it is not compulsory for the study visa, right? But for me, I actually went to Alagmo. So Alagmo is like the headquarter for the police office. So you go there, it's in Lagos. You go there to get your, what's it called, your police clearance certificate. I know that there are a couple of people that also do it. Like you don't have to go to Alagmo. Some people do it actually, but your police clearance certificate has to be from Alagmo, and that was where I got my own from. But I hear that it is not compulsory. Do your research and be sure. So I hear it's not compulsory. So I used my police clearance certificate. I also got my COVID vaccine at the time. I just got my COVID vaccine. I needed the paper, and though I didn't use it for my application process, then I went for my medicals. So when I applied for my medicals, I applied for my medicals after submitting my visa application. So there's something they call upfront medicals. Upfront medicals means that you are doing your medicals before the immigration is asking you to bring your medical results. Okay, I'm going to take it again. So upfront medicals means that you're doing it upfront, you're doing it before you're being asked, right? So usually when you submit your visa application, you do your biometrics, right? When you submit, immediately you submit, you get like a message in your portal that you have to book your biometric appointment. No, I think it is even booked. Then they give you a date, then you go and do it. So after your biometrics, then they start reviewing your application. So it gets to a point that eligibility starts, and they ask you to bring in your medicals. And at this point, majority says that this is like 70% that you're going to get your visa approved. So when they say bring in your medicals, it takes a long time to go and book in to go and book an appointment, because by the time you're going to book an appointment, some days will be taken, and you have to even take, like, your appointment can be in the next month. And if you're trying to make your application fast, you don't want to wait that long. So what you can do is to book your medicals. You can even do your medicals before submitting your visa. right? So you submit your medicals along with your visa application. But for me, in my own case, because I didn't have time on my side, I submitted my visa application and also booked my medicals. So before, I think I submitted my visa, I submitted my visa application in June. That was like 30th of June or in July. Yeah, it was in July because I went for my biometrics in July, and I also booked my medicals for July. So when I did my medicals, I did my medicals at Ikeja IOM International. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm not remembering the names, but so I did my medicals there. So you can either do it there or you do it in Q Life. Q Life is at Victoria Island, but IOM is at Ikeja. So you can do it anywhere, either of those two places, because those are the accredited places to do your medicals when traveling. So that's where I did it. And my medicals took me a long time. My appointment was for 10 a.m. and I think I left there 4 p.m. or 5. It was like, if you want to do your medicals, just know that you're going to use a whole day to do the medicals. So after I applied for my visa, right, then I submitted my medicals too. So other things I added when applying for my visa application was my proof of fund. I know proof of fund is a big deal. Like, it is a big deal, to be honest. And how do you calculate your proof of fund? And just give a brief summary here and make another video on that. So for you to calculate your proof of fund, what you do is, we are going to be using the business administration program that we started with. So if you're going for a business administration program, for example, which is a 2 years, the diploma is a 2 years program, and your tuition fee per year is 15,000 Canadian dollars, right? So for 2 years, that's 30,000 Canadian dollars. Yes. Now, IRCC has like a standard living expenses that everybody is supposed to have. So as an international student, IRCC expects that every year your living expenses should be 10,000 Canadian dollars per year, right? So now you're studying for 2 years, your living expenses should be for 2 years. So you have 10,000 Canadian dollars times 2, that's 20,000 Canadian dollars. Your tuition fee, 15,000 Canadian dollars times 2, 30,000 Canadian dollars, which sums up to be 50,000 Canadian dollars. That's if you're the only one coming. I'm not talking about if you're coming with family or you're coming with a dependent. So I'm talking about if you're the only one coming, right? So that's 50,000 Canadian dollars. So what you do is, the equivalent of that 50 Canadian dollars in your home country, that's what your proof of fund will be. So your proof of fund basically is just your living expenses plus your tuition fee for the number of years you're going to be using here in Canada. So for me, my proof of fund was my tuition fee for 4 years and my living expenses for 4 years. That was my proof of fund. And it does not stop you from adding any other document that you want to add. So I also included landed properties, business documents, to just show that, oh, this is my proof of fund. So you can include anything you want to include, and you have to be careful about it, because I know that some people go to meet, some people help out with the proof of fund. Another thing you can do is that, so people ask that your proof of fund, you're supposed to have like 6 months bank statement. Yes, usually they ask for like 6 month or 3 month bank statements. Like, they want to see the inflow and outflow of the money. They want to know that, oh, you did not just go and carry the money and put it inside the bank when they're asking you for your proof of fund. Because so many people get refusal on the basis that they feel that the money in your account is not accessible. They feel like it's just there. So what you can do is, you can use fixed deposit, which was the route I used. So it was like a fixed deposit account that I used. as my proof of fund. And when they ask you, we just said that the money, my sponsor, which is my father was the one, is the one sponsoring me, and he said, oh, he has been putting this money in this account to for me to study. He has been putting it there so that I can go to study. So it was a fixed account I used. So just be careful about it, to be sincere. Make sure that the money is accessible for them when they are confirming, because they would always confirm from the bank that this money belongs to you. So just be careful, because if they find anything that is like fraud, it can lead to a ban. Yes, it can. Apart from them refusing you, it can lead to a ban. And if Canada ban you, it's very hard for you to get into other countries, because Canada, like Canada immigration, they are very, very thorough with their screening and all of that. So compared to the US and compared to other countries, so you have to be very careful about this thing. So yes, that's it about the proof of fund. So you have to show that you have money accessible. You're not going to Canada to be stranded. You're not going there to become a liability for their government. So another thing, the very important one, is your SOP, which is also called statement of purpose, letter of intent, or letter of motivation. Is this because Canada, for now, they are not doing like a physical interview like the US, right? What they need is your SOP. So this means that you have to sell yourself to them. You have to tell them everything they need to know about you. Is in this statement of purpose that you will tell them that, okay, all my life, this is what I've been doing. I finished from this school. I have this sibling, I have that one. Why I choose Canada, because they'll ask you, why did you choose to study in Canada? They want to know, why don't you want to go to the US? Why don't you want to go to the UK? So they want to know. So is in this SOP, your statement of purpose, that you will tell them that, oh, you want to come to Canada because of this, because of that. Why did you choose the course? Why did you choose that school? Because there are a lot of schools in Canada. Why did you choose that school? There are a lot of courses, programs. Why did you choose that program? So you have to just explain to them. Just imagine them asking you questions and you're answering it in the SOP. Yeah, so that's what you do. So I have like an SOP. I will do a separate video on that one. So just make sure that your SOP is, give people to help you proofread, give people to, don't just write your SOP and say, oh, that's it. Your SOP is the main, like your SOP is the cocoa. Is in your SOP you say that you have so proof of fund. Is in your SOP that you say that you are tied to this person. Your SOP, you do your home ties. So yes, home ties is that you have to say that there is something that is still bringing you back home. Is in your SOP that you tell them that, oh, after I'm done with school, I'm coming back to my country. After I'm done with school, I'm not staying in Canada. Like, it is in your SOP that you tell them these things, because they want to know that you're not trying to run away from your country, right? So it's in your SOP, you show them proof that this is what you want to do, and after you're done, you're going back to your own country, right? So another thing that is very important is your letter of sponsorship. So let me explain. For your proof of fund, right, is either you're the one sponsoring yourself or somebody is sponsoring you, and that is the person's account statement they want to see. The proof of fund is either your own, if you're the one sponsoring yourself, or your sponsor's account. So your sponsor also needs to write a letter. So in my case, my father wrote a letter saying that, oh, he's going to be sponsoring me. He's my father, you know, and he has been sponsoring me all my life from when I was a kid, even down to this point, and he's going to be sponsoring me. And he has to show that, oh, this is what he's doing, and there's money coming from year and year, and, you know, he will be able to sponsor me. He had to write that letter showing that is my sponsor and is going to sponsor me. So at the time, mind you, I was working and I see some people add their pay slip and everything, but for me, to be sincere, it was straightforward. I did not add all of those things to my own application. I didn't put so many things, but just make sure that everything you're using is very, very authentic, is very, very valid, right? I also added like my sponsors international passport to show. You can either use it or birth certificate to show that it's my father. That was what I used. And yeah, that was it. Like that is the whole process of my application. Then I applied, and after a while, I didn't get anything. There was no eligibility, and that was it. And how I applied was, so there is the old portal and the new portal. For me, during my application, I used the old portal, and I would advise that you use the old portal because the old portal allows you to add up to like allows you to add a lot of documents, to upload a lot of documents compared to the new portal. So the new portal, you have to like compress your documents to 2 MB. I think it's 2 MB. It only allows you to be able to upload. So when you compress your documents, then you start leaving out a lot of things behind. So I used the old portal that allows you to upload, a lot of documents. And mind you, don't forget that you also need to take a passport photograph. And this passport photograph is not the normal one you would take. The Canadian system, they have like they have the type of passport photograph they want. So you have to be careful, and you have to just go to a studio and tell them you want a Canadian passport photograph. So during my time, I went to Studio 24 in Lagos. So that was where I took my passport photograph. At that time, it was like 2000 naira. I took the picture, the passport. So you go there, you take your passport photograph for that. And what else? I hope I'm really not forgetting anything. And yes, that was it. Then you go for your medicals, you do tests, then you submit. Okay, so I think that's all, and we've come to the end of this video today. I'll make a video talking about proof of funds and booking, how to book a flight and every other thing. But just let me know in the comment section the kind of videos you want me to, the kind of content you want me to post next, and I will, by God's grace, post the video. Thank you so much for watching to this point. I really do appreciate my new subscribers, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am so grateful. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye bye.